All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. I have not been uploading frequently, but rest assured, it is because I've been extremely busy. And one of the things I was busy with is right in front of you now, which is the Senshi supplement called Shadows of the East. It's a supplement for my authentic Japanese, feudal Japanese role playing game. And it adds a low magic system as well as a lot of cool stuff, all sourced from authentic Japanese mythology and folklore. I've been working on this for the past year, and I'm pretty proud of what I managed to accomplish here. It's got all kinds of crazy creatures, which again are all authentic, all from Japanese mythology. I just found a way to translate their abilities, their traits that weren't known about these spirits through Japanese folklore into my game system. So now you can actually, you know, hunt down spirits, evil spirits, or make alliances with benevolent ones like the kitsune, fox societies, and all kinds of cool stuff, as well as adding a bunch of magical items. Again, all sourced from actual items that exist. Um, so yeah, let's just jump into this really quick. I'm not gonna give you a full tour, but I will give you a quick peek of what you could get with this book. It is pretty massive tome. It's 300 plus pages. The format is a little bit bigger than the previous book I made, and it's gonna be best used with the upcoming revised edition of my previous book, the Senshi Master Tome. That's gonna be out probably sometime by the end of summer. Um, and you can get this in digital, and print will be available as soon as I get the physical copies delivered to me, and I can check if everything's okay. You can get them immediately on Lulu though, so if you want the print copy, just go there. Okay, let's jump into this. So the front cover is the sun goddess Amaterasu, and dawn is breaking essentially, and that's when all the evil spirits, or just spirits in general, fade back into the spiritual realm. So this, I thought this was a cool front cover. You'll see the back, and that's the back is the opposite. Um, all right, so a little bit of forward here, and there's the index. So we have all kinds of stuff here. How to make a mythical campaign. How to, because this is a supplement, so it's literally you can tack this onto your existing campaign. It doesn't really ruin the original experience. It merely enhances it. Here we have a nice picture of Shoki, which is the demon hunter. The famous Japanese demon hunter. So killing a bunch of demons. So here we go. It's the realm of spirits. So this is, each chapter is like this. It has a nice little Japanese proverb. And here's where I explain all this stuff on how stuff works. The introduction page is literally how to use this book properly, how to use all these new features contained within. This is a segment on mythical campaigns. I added a personal, sort of. I made a mythological phenomena on my own, which is like an overarching threat to this feudal Japanese world. I did get inspired by actual Japanese mythology when I wrote this, but it's a sort of an overarching threat, similar to what Gehenna would be in like the World of Darkness series. So just to have an overarching threat, which is, I think, is crucial in a campaign like this. And then I give you some ideas on how to run a campaign like this, some tips, a table on how to enhance quests, a book that can be acquired in game called the Kojiki, which is like a Japanese encyclopedia of folklore, which you can use to like identify yokai, spirits, and other magical things. Then there's a bunch of supernatural phenomena and how they work. Then you have stuff like all kinds of crazy stuff like Hinagami magical dolls, Inugami spirit dogs that can protect your home, Jami Kodakitsune little pipe foxes that can curse your enemies, and all kinds of cool stuff. Rituals, bizarre rituals, curses, a full table full of curses, wards, table full of wards, and then we get to I think the meat and potatoes of this, which is the supernatural abilities. So far, the of course, the original game is a hard setting, so there's no magic in it. So there were no supernatural abilities in that. This actually ties them in with the religious system. So with the three main religions, which is Shinto, Zen Buddhism, and Christianity, and you can actually, based on those religions, you can actually get powers, supernatural powers. So Shinto really gives you the ability to worship a whole menagerie of kami, which are Japanese gods. And this is a list of all of them. And there's about 50 or 60 of these. And each of them has either one or two powers that you can use. There's limitations. Priests can fully utilize this, while all other characters can utilize like one kami power. So you can, even if you're not a priest or a magic user in this game, you can still get a little bit of a taste of this. There's a nice table at the end of all the kami. Now, I didn't I couldn't feature every single kami because there's 8 million of them. So I just picked the most famous ones, the ones that are sort of the most prominent ones, I think, in Japanese mythology. So, Amaterasu, Fujin, Hachiman, Inari Okami, etc. So the bold ones are major kami. These are more powerful, and the other ones are minor kami, which are a little weaker. And I've written a domain for each, so you have kind of an idea of what kind of power they give you. Then we have Zen, and we already featured Zen in the original game. You had Zen priests, but now they can actually get supernatural powers. These powers are all personal, however, so they only enhance the Zen priest themselves. So it's but there's this is very similar to maybe what a monk would be in D&D, but still a little similar. Again, not as OP, but yeah, it has a whole system on how to acquire these abilities and how you can use them. And then you have Christianity, which is, I thought, was an interesting idea to feature this, because it was sort of this religion was coming in on the western side of Japan through trade, along with Francis Xavier. So it was a interesting idea to keep in the game. So I thought, well, I'll come up with some Christian powers, even though playing a Christian missionary, which is what this enables you to do, is very dangerous in this game, because they are literally prosecuted throughout Japan. So you're literally dodging. You're trying to keep your faith a secret while spread it at the same time. So it's very very difficult to play. I had one of my players actually play this, and they survived much longer than I thought they would. But it was still very hard. So it's like this is meant for like veteran players or returning players or players who've played for a few characters. But I thought, I would flesh this out just the same. So you have a piety and a divinity system, and you literally have, there's a nice picture of Francis Xavier. You have, literally have, the 10 Commandments, which are, the original 10 Commandments, and you have to follow them. Otherwise you get, divinity and piety penalties, which can, mess up your, powers, your godly powers. And it comes with a bunch of new items, a new set of destinies for this subclass, because I thought the other ones didn't really fit. So I made some new ones, and yeah, and then there's a list of godly powers. You have purity, devotion, and holiness. These are like the 3 tiers, and then each one has its own ability. And again, it's very hard to play this, but it can be potentially very rewarding if you know what you're doing. And then we have priest rituals. These are rituals is another thing that all priest classes can do. Obviously, this book gives priests quite a lot of power. They're kind of like the quote unquote spellcasters in the system now. It's still low magic, so don't think of this as, they're not going to be wizards from D&D or anything, but it gives us some cool stuff to do, especially these rituals. You can consecrate areas, you can exorcise demons or areas, you can enchant items and stuff. And again, with various limitations, so it's not it's not too OP, because I want this to be a low magic system. I don't want this to be something that doesn't destroy the original campaign, the original sort of flow of gameplay. And then we have all these supernatural items, which are really cool. I found all bunch of these items from Japanese folklore, like the Kugarasu Maru, and you have Kugitsune Maru and the Kongo, and all kinds of cool stuff. So basically, what I did is I separated them into 4 tiers on of ascending power, and basically I read what they were all about, what they were rumored to, the powers that they were rumored to possess, and then I basically made that into a trait that this item has. So for instance, the Kogurasu Maru, it's called the Little Crow Circle, and if you lose this sword, it's brought back by a black crow the next morning. So you really can't lose it. So all kinds of cool stuff. Most of these are swords, which is just the way it is. There's some bows, some spears, but most of them are swords, except for the mallet. This one's a very special one. And then we also have trinkets. So these are kind of like anything from accessories to consumables to equipment that has magical properties. So I did source these from both Buddhist and Shinto sort of ritualistic sort of rituals and religious ceremonies that they're using. Religious ceremonies like the gohei is used in religious ceremonies by priests. The omikuji is literally like I guess you could call it a Japanese fortune cookie in a sense. But anyway, I used all this as ideas for these items. Some of them are Buddhist items like the shakujo, and some of these I actually made on my own. There's a few of these. There's the shokizo, which is literally a statue of Shoki, and it can drive off demons. But a lot of these are real. So Vara Ningyo, these are real things. Hangonko, all kinds of cool stuff. And yeah, there's quite a few of these. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot, but there's quite a decent amount. And then, of course, we have the main section, which is the last chapter of this book, but it is the largest chapter, which is the spirits chapter. Now, spirits are everything from demons to, from sentient foxes to Tengu demons. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. And so this is definitely the biggest portion of the book. So this is just a large menagerie of these supernatural monsters that come out at night. So I explained first. So I classified them. Technically, there's like some there's some deliberation of which creatures are considered what in Japanese folklore. And the yokai are basically, I use this as an umbrella term for all the supernatural spirits. So there's and then I further classify them into subsections, which are demons, kappa, kitsune, tanuki, tengu, Tsukumogami, Yurei, and other yokai, which I literally couldn't fit anywhere else. So it's like a list of all kinds of weird creatures again, and they're also separated by class levels. So similarly how items are separated by tier, these are separated by class. So class 1 is the weakest, and then S class is like godlike. So these are literally, they don't, S class doesn't have a stat block, so because they're literally like they're basically gods, so you can't even hurt them. So then I list on how they work, in terms of their supernatural abilities and all that stuff. And then we have a nice list here. And then we have demons first, and then we have. I also listed not just a list of these demons, but also phenomenons that are associated with a certain yokai type. Like for demons, that's the Onihitokuchi, which is literally where demons abduct people or devour them in the night. And then we have the list of demons like the Akuma demon, the Amanojaku, the Dodomeki, the Hanya demons. These are very famous female demons, Kijo demons. And again, I tried to feature like some of the most famous ones. I probably missed some, but that's gonna be stuff for later expansions. All kinds of cool stuff. You have everything here from reptiles to hags to sea flying foxes, which can possess people and objects, and it's all kinds of stuff. And it all has associated game mechanics with it. So yeah, these are the foxes. Like these are like whole societies of foxes. And then we have Tanuki, which are like these weird raccoon dogs. Tengu, which are like these weird bird-like things. All kinds of stuff. And then we also have Tsukumogami, which are possessed objects. So, or like objects that have turned to life, like this little picture here. It's like a sentient biwa instrument, or a sentient shamisen instrument. So this is just a massive list, and there's also ghosts, which are much harder to kill, called Yurei. Yeah. All kinds of cool stuff. There's so much of this stuff. I think there's like 80 of these things. So, I'll just scroll through this whole section because there's literally so much. There's like fireball casting cats. Like there's what I love about this is that the Japanese folklore is rife with stuff like this that's perfect for an RPG. So yeah, and this is the new character sheet, very similar to the old one. I optimized some things, made some things certain things bigger, moved a few things around, made them a little more, I think, a little bit more optimized. There's two of them. One's for the upcoming revised edition of the game, and one is for the original edition. And then the other two pages, this one's the same. And then the 3 faith pages for the spellcasting, or whatever you want to call it. So it's the Shinto page, the Christianity page, and the Zen page. And we also have the new spirit sheet for the spirits. And that's it. And then we have the back cover, which, if you look at the front cover, this is daylight. This is dawn coming in. Amaterasu's, because she's the goddess of the sun. So she's banishing all the yokai, and then at the end, it's the opposite. It's nighttime coming in, and then these evil demons appear. So there's 4 faces on this picture, if you can find them. But anyway, that is the book. Chock full of stuff. You can fit this into pretty much other systems as well. There's so many ideas in here. You'd obviously have to convert stuff for different systems, but I think it's really interesting because all I did really was just take these ideas that were already in folklore and translated it into my system, and came up with like actual powers that would reflect these phenomena and spirits and all that stuff. So um you could probably fit this into D&D as well, or other systems without, I don't think, too much work. It's pretty self-explanatory. The system's already pretty simple as it is. It's easy to understand, so you probably wouldn't have too much time converting this. Yeah. So please take a look. Buy this book if you like it. I hope you do. It's definitely been a long time coming, and I've been working hard on this, and I like the results. It is, I think if it turned out nice. My players have been playing through it in a campaign that I'm doing, and so far we've been having fun, I think. So yeah, that's it. There will be another video coming up probably for the revised edition of the book, or just a short you know promo video, so it's out. And there will also be a bundle for this book and the original game or the revised edition. So if you bought the original, you have a little discount on this as well, on this book as well. So okay, thanks for watching, and hopefully buy the book. See you later.